pursuant to the resolution of the House of Representatives on the 17th March 2020, mandating this committee to investigate DSTV and other cable TV in Nigeria on the non-implementation of pay-as-you-go. Again, on the 2nd of June 2020, the House passed another resolution mandating this committee to invite DSTV. This time around, it was just DSTV, to explain why the recent hike in its tariff. Consequent upon this, the clerk to this committee, based on the unanimous decision of all the members of this committee, wrote a letter to DSTV, inviting them to appear before this committee to explain circumstances surrounding, one, the recent hike in their tariff, and then the second one, the reason why pay-as-you-go is not implemented in Nigeria. DSTV, having received that letter, they wrote to us and explained that based on circumstances beyond their control, that they couldn't come for the meeting. And the letter is here with us. The letter they wrote on the 15th of July 2020. I would like to seek the indulgence of this committee to read the first letter. Carried? The letter they wrote on the 15th of July 2020 read thus. Real letter of invitation. We refer to your letter of 6 July 2020 inviting us for a hearing on 17 July 2020 by the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating non-implementation of pay-as-you-go tariff plan by satellite broadcast and DSTV subscription price increase. We appreciate the opportunity given to us by the committee to appear before it and present our submission on both issues. However, due to pre-scheduled engagement with our stakeholders, we regret to inform the committee that we will be unable to appear before it on 17 July 2020. We do humbly seek the indulgence of the committee in rescheduling the hearing to 22nd July 2020. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused to the committee, and please be assured of our best effort at all times. Sincerely, John Ube, Chief Executive Officer, DSTV. That was the first letter we received from the Chief Executive Officer of DSTV. And then today again, today is the date they rescheduled the meeting to, that they are going to appear here and make presentation before this committee and explain to Nigeria on the way forward on the implementation of pay-as-you-go and also the recent price hike. Unfortunately, this morning, as we're about to start the meeting, we received another letter from the same organization, DSTV. And this letter today is written by the head, Regulatory Affairs of DSTV. The letter reads thus. Real letter of invitation. We refer to your letter of 6 July 2020 and our letter of 15 July 2020. We regret to inform the committee that we will be unable to appear before it today due to a sudden illness of our Chief Executive Officer after arriving in Abuja yesterday for this meeting. Because of the abundance of caution needed to be taken in line with the current pandemic, we believe it is necessary that the meeting be deferred until he has regained his health and is cleared by his medical doctor. In the meantime, we will submit written submission to the committee to assist the committee in its investigation. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused to this committee, and please be assured of our best effort at all times. Gozie Onumonu, Head, Regulatory Affairs for Chief Executive Officer, DSTV. That's the second letter we received this morning from DSTV, operated by MultiChoice Nigeria. So, distinguished colleagues, Deputy Chairman, gentlemen of the press, having received these two letters from our guests that we invited for this hearing today, we don't have any choice. We didn't have a choice than for this committee to sit and then take a decision on the way forward. Because we are not here on our own mandates. We are here on the mandates of the House of Representatives, passed on the 17th March 2020, and also on the mandates given to this committee to investigate the recent price hike. And that second resolution was passed on the 2nd June 2020. We cannot toy with the mandate given to this committee. So that's why we are here as members of the committee to deliberate and then take a decision that will enable this committee to make progress and then report back to the House. Therefore, this meeting is hereby declared open, and I welcome input from my colleagues. Thank you.
He's not a medical doctor. He didn't say he's in the hospital. He's in his house, I'm sure, enjoying himself, and he's writing to us, telling us that he's having signs of cough, and then the pandemic, he wants to be careful. I think the person is truly taking this committee for a ride. If he had written us, or the doctor where he is hospitalized, then we'll talk about that. But where he is in his house, I'm sure, if anybody knows him now or trusts him, you see him, maybe if he likes drinking beer, you see him drinking beer. And we're all here seated, waiting for him to come. And like some of my colleagues said, he didn't send, no representative sent. Mr. Chairman, I think this is the very height of neglect of parliamentary invitation. And absolute and necessary sanctions should be enforced to make him appear. Let him come with the COVID. Even going to test for COVID, well, it's not our duty to ask him to go and test for COVID. Let him come. He didn't say he has COVID. Let's take a date when he will appear. If he goes for COVID, because even if you tell him to go and test for COVID, and he says he's not testing, will you drag him to the hospital to test? So let's invite him on another date, and if he refuses, we'll summon him, and then we'll use the instrumentality of the law of the parliament to compel him to bring it, because they cannot be cheating Nigerians, and we think we're fools. We'll just wait for them until they finish collecting as much billions as they like from Nigerians, and we'll sit down here and wait for him and his team. Mr. Chairman, I submit that every necessary step should be taken to let this man appear before this committee as quickly as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For having written a letter that is not well. We don't know what is wrong with him. And let us be frank to ourselves, we are representing the people of this country. And this committee is set for the purpose of the masses. And this is the people that we don't know the revenue they have generated for this country. And within this hardship, there is an increase in tariff in multi-choice DSTV. And a house sat on a motion and constituted a committee to investigate. Complete 2 times, not even sending a representative to appear before the committee. That is a pure negligence. No representative, no executive director, nobody from the multi-choice DSTV to appear before the committee. And we should know that we are representing the people. The masses are watching us. We should stand to speak while we are here.
So I want to make a very salient point. You I agree with Honorable Prestige, and I want to point out that in the first letter that we wrote to him, his reply, he gave us a date. Himself gave us a date that on today's date was given to us by him. And the letter, and time, and the letter he wrote today, if you look at it, you see that there is no time, no date. It is vague. That means we are not expecting any time soon. So it's based on this that I want to say that my complete name, Julius Pondi, I represent the Pole of Bluetooth Federal Constitution. I'm from Delta State. I want to move that the Ncdc should locate the CEO of MultiChoice Nigeria, Mr. John Ugbo, and ensure that is tested for COVID-19. Since he already alluded that he is having cough and he's not feeling well, observing the abundance of caution, and report back to this house within 4 days. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I just want, for purposes of clarity, for me to be cleared so that we don't assume that it is COVID. He can be excused for whatever sickness, whether it is malaria, whether it is ulcer, or whether it's everything. So I don't want us to give a picture. And if tomorrow he now comes to the media and said, no, he's not suffering from COVID-19, I have that fear so that we don't run into contradiction. But if his letter stated so, fine. But I have not heard from what you read.
He is himself cautious. So I don't think there is anything wrong in the committee asking him to be tested by Ncdc. That's one. Two, the man himself, in a telephone conversation with the chairman this morning, said he has cough, which he is suspecting could be anything near COVID-19. So it is better for him to be cautious. That is in a telephone conversation with the chairman. So I think these are two things. We are not saying he should be admitted. We are only saying he should be tested. So I don't think there is anything wrong if the committee requests that Ncdc should test him.